I call to order the meeting of the Minnehaha Creek Watershed District Board of Managers, December 1st, 2025. I'll take roll call attendance. Manager Hejmati,
Here.
Manager Sando.
Here.
Manager Loftus.
Here.
Manager Olson.
Here.
Manager White here. Manager Maxwell.
Here.
And we have two absent. We have one absence. Thank you. Members of the public who wish to speak to the board? Then the next item here is to approve the agenda. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Manager Maxwell moves. Is there a second?
Second.
Manager Sando seconds. Those in favor, Manager Hejmati?
Aye.
Manager Sando?
Aye.
Manager Loftus?
Aye.
Manager Olson?
Aye.
White says aye. Manager Maxwell?
Aye.
The agenda is approved. Under the consent agenda tonight, we have approval of the minutes of the November 20th board meeting and a resolution 25071, authorization to release RFP for water quality lab services. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Olson moves. Is there a second?
Second.
Manager Loftus, second. Those in favor of approving the consent agenda, Manager Hejmati,
Aye.
Sando,
Aye.
Loftus,
Aye.
Olson,
Aye.
White, aye. Maxwell.
Aye.
The consent agenda is approved. I have no report this evening, so I'll turn to you, Manager Loftus, for an Operations and Programs Committee meeting report.
Yes, thank you. We had a meeting this evening that went a little bit over. I apologize. We got a report on our community engagement, kind of an annual report on the detailing the communications we have with stakeholders. And then we received a nice report on the past year's election results and a update from our lobbyist. And then last, we talked a little bit about county board appointment processes as well. And that was all we covered, but we did take too much time. Sorry.
Thank you. Not a worry. The upcoming meeting and event schedule is published. In addition to our usual meetings, we have the Citizens Advisory Committee on January 14th with Manager Maxwell as the liaison, and January 20th, Minnesota Watershed's quarterly meeting, Manager Olson. And in addition, Manager Olson and I will be attending the Minnesota Watershed's annual meeting, and I think Manager Maxwell may attend as well.
Yes.
All right, that's it. We'll move now to item 11.1, Resolution 25072. Ms. Christopher.
Right, thank you, President White, Board of Managers. So in September, the board authorized release of a request for proposals for consultant services to support development of the watershed management plan. And I'm back with a recommendation for awarding that contract. And I'll start with just a brief recap of the scope of work. I'll review the RFP process, and finally, I'll outline staff's recommendation for requesting board action. So this contract will support the development of the district's 2027 plan, which will build on the policy direction set in the 2017 plan with continued emphasis on integrated planning and partnership, and will apply these approaches to new challenges, including managing precipitation and flooding, climate change. And the plan update involves 4 main areas of work. First, developing our integrated flood management strategy in collaboration with our communities, developing our next round of focal geography plans, including Skeeter Creek and Long Lake Creek, developing resources to support integrated planning and high-impact opportunities partnership program, finally developing metrics to allow us to better assess our progress, our goals. And as reviewed at the November PPC meeting, the plan will be informed by a robust stakeholder engagement process that includes convening our cities, counties, and other key stakeholders, and facilitating a series of conversations over the next 2 years to help us build shared understanding of water resource issues and needs, integrating that with land use plans and priorities, and then implementation strategies that water resource. And so to support that work, staff developed a consultant scope of work that's organized into 4 areas. First is engagement and communication support, where the consultant team will participate in planning sessions with staff on engagement strategy, facilitation planning, messaging. They will also support development of communication materials to help translate technical analysis into clear, accessible messages and visuals. And they will also attend stakeholder meetings to help track feedback, gather insights, and support facilitation as needed. Second, they will conduct flood risk assessment to help us understand both current and future flood risks using the new 2D model. And then third, they will support analysis of flood management strategies by building out those scenarios, modeling them, and assessing the effectiveness and cumulative. And then the final bucket of work just includes for project management, which includes kind of kickoff and discovery work, as well as regular coordination. There's integration between the district and staff team and then kind of. So the RFP process started in late September with the release of the RFP. Then we hosted an informational meeting in mid-October and then reviewed proposals and conducted interviews in early November. And 3 firms submitted proposals. These were HDR, Moore Engineering, and Kimley Horn. And these proposals are not part of the public record until the contract's been executed, but were provided email. And as there was a staff team consisting of Samantha Hoppy, Brian Beck, Kate Moran, and myself that reviewed and evaluated the proposals using the criteria listed in the RFP, which includes approach and methodology, experience, and cost. And then 2 firms were selected for interviews, which were HDR and Moore. And the interview panel included that same team plus James Whisker as well. And based on the written proposals and interviews, the staff team recommends that Moore Engineering be awarded the contract. And the Moore team stood out to us for a variety of reasons. First, through their written proposal and interview, Moore demonstrated the strongest understanding of the project's goals and stakeholders. And the team that Moore has assembled has substantial experience in modeling, stakeholder engagement, communications, and also watershed planning, which the watershed planning wasn't something we had specifically called out as required in the RFP, but was something that we found useful through the interviews. They also outlined a collaborative approach for working with staff to adaptively manage this process over the next 2 years as we learn through the engagement and technical analysis. And then finally, they demonstrated an ability to think strategically and serve as an advisor rather than just executing tasks. And that came through really clearly in our interview discussion, which focused a lot on engagement strategy and potential challenges we might encounter. So to conclude, staff recommends approving Resolution 25-072, awarding the contract to Moore Engineering. And as outlined in the supplemental memo that was provided to the board to help expedite the contracting process, staff has already worked with Moore to make some refinements to the proposal. So the revised version that was provided is what the board would be authorizing. And this included the addition of videography services to support development of up to 3 short videos that would be used in the plan kickoff, interviewing partners and highlighting some project partnership success stories. So if approved, we should be able to finalize the contract quickly and get to work later this month. Questions?
Thank you, Ms. Christopher. Is there a motion to adopt the resolution?
So moved.
Manager Maxwell, is there a second?
Second.
Manager Sando seconds. Any questions? Manager Loftus.
Just a quick question on the videos. Who are you hoping will be watching those?
The current thinking is that we might be able to kind of include them as part of the presentation or the kickoff events.
Okay.
And then also I would imagine we'd probably have them on the website or might use them in other ways.
Okay, thanks.
Would you have those regular meetings, is that just like monthly, or is that as needed?
With the consultant
Yes.
team? Yeah, good question. Manager Maxwell, there's kind of a few different meetings we've scoped out. I think we've got, currently thinking kind of bi-monthly, like planning meetings kind of between each of the stakeholder engagement meetings to kind of plan for what's ahead. And then I think there's monthly just kind of project management checkpoints on kind of how both the technical analysis is going as well as any engagement work. There's kind of and then I think there's like quarterly checks on just like sort of how they're doing and like that's sort of outside the budget as well, just kind of feedback. So we've got kind of a few different ways that we're planning.
If something else would happen to pop up, is that an extra charge in, or is this just the contract is the contract? No matter how many times you call and talk.
I think there's definitely some flexibility built in some of the buckets. And, you know, certainly I'm sure we didn't predict everything perfectly for how it's going to
Yeah,
go over the
no,
next 2 years. So
yeah.
I think we'll make adjuststants as needed, but
I was just wondering if they were
Yeah.
interested, okay with, the making the contact if
yeah.
all the time.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of emphasis from their team and in our conversation on collaboration and how we're really want to be working closely
Yeah.
together through the
Thanks.
Manager Olson?
Now that we're making the decision for more, will their numbers be added to this resolution? Or is there a reason why they're not on here? It
So-
references 10%, but it doesn't say of what.
Sure. Yeah, and I think, and Smith can speak to this maybe more too, but I think that's kind of our standard process, just since that is private information. And so then once approved, then it becomes public information. I don't know that we back and add it to the resolution or how.
Mr. Smith?
Madam President, Manager Olson, the information about those details of the contract is to be kept not public until the contract is executed under state law. And so that's why the resolution is crafted that way.
Okay.
And as Ms. Christopher said, it would become public information, but we wouldn't go back.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions for Ms. Christopher? Very well then, voting on the resolution, Manager Hijmati,
Aye.
Manager Sando,
Aye.
Manager Loftus.
Aye.
Manager Olson.
All right,
Manager White, aye. Manager Maxwell.
All right.
The resolution is adopted. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Our next item is the board inquiries, issues, and ideas. Are there any items that managers want to bring forward this evening? Then we'll move along to the administrator's report, Mr. Wisger.
Yeah, thank you, President White. Short and sweet, I think, is the billing for tonight. The Grays Bay Dam's closed, winterized, and the reason I mention that is we just want to give another annual shout out to the Minnetonka Public Works crew. They were nimble, really capable. They trucked the materials out there. They're below the dam, getting the stop logs in. They're just an incredibly helpful and experienced crew at this point, and make sure that opening and closing each season goes really seamless. And I think President White covered the other update. A number of us are heading to the Minnesota Watersheds Annual Conference this week. So I'll be going up Thursday. Gina and I are going to be driving together, and we'll report back per the board's request on how the conference goes and everything that we learn.
Thank you. We are adjourned.